Okay. Hello, 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 IGC. How are you all doing today? It is live time with Jen, and we are going to talk about something that is very important, and that is personal agility. So, are you agile? Can you pivot? Is the new popular term for this competency. You probably have heard a lot of people talking about pivot capability, right? And I'm going to check real quick to make sure that you all are seeing me live in the feed. And we are going to talk, of course, about the personal agility. And if you attend live, remember, this gets you the entry to win a copy of Daniel Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence. And if you complete the exercise that's related to the assessment of Are You Agile that I posted just a few minutes ago in the IGC in unit number 7, where we're doing SEI week, then you can actually be entered to win the SEEP assessment that I talked about yesterday. So I hope that some of you can join me live, and we're going to get started. And we're going to first get started, of course, because I'm going to share my screen. And let me do this. Okay, so we are looking at, of course, the reminder of what I just said, which is be sure to attend live today. So then that way you can be entered to win a copy of Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence book. As you recall, yesterday we spoke about the 4-quadrant model, and I explained that we would probably be hanging out in the self column, and today personal agility is in the self-management quadrant of the 4-quadrant model. So, what is personal agility? Personal agility can be described or defined this way. This is how ISEI shortens the definition of personal agility: that you are readily, willingly, rapidly, and effectively able to anticipate and adapt to change. So there's a lot of lees in there, but it's a lot. Think about those words: readily, willingly, rapidly, and effectively anticipating and adapting to change. So we clearly are in a huge moment of change, unprecedented times, uncertain times. There is a lot of pivot requirement coming on right now. And so what are some of the things that we can think about in regards to how can we become much more agile? We can, let all this change overwhelm us. We can refuse to adapt and not be willing to consider that there might be a new normal after we come out of what we were dealing with right now with COVID-19. More importantly, like I said, it's like, really, what can we do? But I want you to think about companies that are agile. And this sometimes helps us kind of get a different perspective on what agility looks like. I was so impressed, and I saw it and I went out and checked it out. Airbnb, hospitality website, relies on people to be able to open their homes and sell those spaces. That's really how that business model works, right? They've got to have clients that have space that they can rent, and they've got to have other clients that are willing to go into someone else's home. Well, clearly that's not even an option right now. So Airbnb has pivoted by offering experiences, which I think is pretty cool in the sense that you can then now go and get an experience. So it's turned a new they have really very quickly adapted to change. On a personal level, we are all learning how to do things virtually. Some of us did it before, and those of us who didn't, we've had to really get up the learning curve pretty quickly. Another company that you might consider Not so agile was Kodak. So think about what happened to Kodak, a company that relied on people to only use a camera for cameras and for picture taking. And when the iPhones came in and other smartphones, think about what they did not do to adapt to be able to handle that kind of change in the marketplace. So I know what you're saying now is, Jen, how do I improve my personal agility? So let's think about one thing. And I talked about this in the Brown Bag Break on April 17th. And the thing that you can do, most importantly, to improve your agility is to focus on what you can control. And when you are pivoting, if you're focusing on everything you can't control, you're not going to be able to be very agile in that moment. So if we can focus on what we can control, then that helps us be a little bit more agile and handle the change that we're in. And if you recall, if you attended the brown bag or caught it on replay, I came up with 7 things that I know we can control, or at least I feel I can control. I can control how I begin my day, how I schedule my day, how often I move, what I consume, both in food and also nourishment for my brain and my mind, and then my work hours, my play hours, and then how I end my day. So if you're able to join me live, and I haven't been able to look at my stuff because I'm seeing my screen, I want to know, those of you that have been able to jump on live, what can you control? Put that right in the chat right now as your book entry post. So what can you control? It could be one of those things that I referenced, but I want you to pick one thing that you can control, and that will help you with your personal agility. So how do you know where you stand right now with your agility? I talked about the little assessment, the assessment that I posted. So there is this assessment, and it has a lot of questions, and you can score it. And of course, it's on a Richter scale where you can actually scale yourself from 1 to 5, always to never, meaning, 1, you always do that behavior. 5, you never do that behavior, and then score yourself. And then it gives you a rating. But what I want you to do in regards to the SEEP entry for today, I want you to complete the assessment, but I want you to not share your score. I don't want that information. That's not necessary. If you feel comfortable sharing that, you can, but I just want you to post one little insight from this assessment, from the work that you did by answering these, 20 questions and scoring yourself. See where you are. See if there's a surprise. Maybe you're more agile than you realized you are, and maybe this time has kind of created a space where you didn't feel very agile. I know many of you have pivoted very effectively, and you've done new and exciting things that maybe without this current event, you wouldn't have done. Maybe your business model can change in some way. I've heard some of those stories. So make sure that you do the assessment and you post an insight before midnight tonight to be eligible for the SEEP assessment prize. So I hope that you learned a little bit about what you can do to be a little bit more agile today. And I'm looking very much forward to seeing those of you. Oh, looks, we got lots of things. I didn't get a chance to look at my screen. Now I did. So let me look at the comments. So we had a person said they hearted, what can they control? My attitude, definitely you can control that. My behavior, my response to those things, how you choose to spend your free time, absolutely. All marvelous ways about what you can control. And don't lose sight of that. because we can control. And that there's that Rachel Hollis quote that I shared at the Brown Bag Break last couple weeks ago. There's two things you can definitely control: your attitude and your effort. And we can actually do that right now. Our effort, that how we choose to actually apply ourselves. We choose to how we spend our time, right? And then that attitude, that mindset that goes into that. So loved having you all online today. Take the assessment, see how agile you are, post that insight so that we can do some good sharing in regards to the, how we can support each other and become more agile. And I know all of you have great pivot potential. I see it in you. Sometimes we need that support to be able to see it in you before you see it in yourself. So do that for yourself. Take the assessment, see that insight, get that insight. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow's live. You can either catch me here in the IGC or on my Facebook page for Gen Quest. And I'm going to be going live, instead of at 10:15, we're going to be 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern time. And I'm going to have my coach and colleague Paige Dest with me, and we're going to discuss the next competency, which is resilience. So I hope you look forward to that. And again, that's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central time and noon Eastern time. So talk to you then. See you all then.